A quick introduction, guys. Welcome, everyone. I'm Sharon and I'm a product consultant at Freshsales. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for the sales campaign webinar by Jake, who's a product and an onboarding expert of Freshsales. I also want to let you know that this webinar is being recorded. So, if any of you are interested in listening to the webinar again, we will be providing you with a link to the recording by next week. I'm going to quickly brief you through the webinar agenda where we would be having an introduction on how sales campaign can help, followed by a walkthrough of this feature, and then we wrap with a question and answer session. Now that most of you are here and settled, once again we welcome you and we are so thankful to you all for joining us today. So I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer, and going forward, we'll start with the session. Jake, over to you.
Thank you, Sharon, for the quick introduction. So, hey, hello everyone. This is Jake here, and I'm the product consultant here with Freshsales. Today, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough on how do we use sales campaigns in Freshsales and how to configure them for your easy and effective sales. So, in terms of talking about why we need sales campaigns, every user has their own way of following up with your leads in terms of sending out emails, making calls, and reaching out to them. Everyone has their own specific set process. So when we were thinking, why not build something where we have that way, where a predefined way, the success rate for a person could be categorized or could be shared across the team, so everyone could create a campaign or a follow-up method which is successful for the organization. So that is the idea on why we build sales campaigns. So coming into sales campaigns, the idea is to have an email sent out from the system where it does, and it goes out to all the users or all the prospects, that ideally the target audience. And this could be based out of one email that you're sending out to the respective people. So in a sales campaign, you could send out an email, make follow-ups as well, have reminders for yourself set as well. So this helps up in terms of automation. So ideally, moving from a manual way of sending out emails to them, we move into a way where the system does that automatically for us, reminds us so that we don't forget, because human tendencies, there are chances of us to forget that. So we wanted to move where have everything automated rather than us creating it manually every time. So that's why we build sales campaigns. Now, what we do offer, what are the different functions that we do have in this feature would be in terms of, first, we can start off with an email that could be sent out, and then you have reminders for yourself to follow up, to regroup with the team, to collect specific data. Follow-ups will be task reminders for yourself in the system, so that you will create tasks of your own on a case where you need to collect information regarding, or make sure that you send out an email after collecting the data. Everything comes up over there. And then you have call reminders, another set of tasks which you can again create of your own to make sure that you don't forget to call them at a specific time. And every email that you send out will be tracked, so you can see who opened the email, and if they did open the email, what is the next action that we can trigger based on that open for that specific email. And the overall metrics on how successful a campaign is for an agent, we will be able to have that. We will be able to also pass it on to another person through sharing a campaign, so the other person can see what is the success rate of this particular campaign. And if you go inside individually into a campaign, you can see every step set up perfectly, or how you'd set up, and what is the statistics on each step. So when you have a template that works out for you in a specific campaign, you can see the open rate or the reply rate higher compared to the one that might not work. So all these statistics can be seen by you, and you can make that change accordingly as per your requirement. So these are a few features which we do offer. And in terms of the types of campaigns we have two types of campaigns. We have a classic campaign and a smart campaign. The difference would be, when you use a classic campaign, is when you want to prospect. So you have a specific process set out. So for example, as soon as the lead comes into the system, on day 2, you would like to send out a welcome email. And once the email comes in, based on the response, if he's open or if he's not open, you can go ahead and set yourself a reminder, a follow-up task to follow up with them on that specific day. The same can work with a call reminder probably on day 8, saying that, hey, I need to call this customer. So this campaign would run when you want to execute steps on specific days, which could range all the way from day 1 all the way to day 90. So that is a span of 3 months where you can run the entire classic campaign. Whereas a smart campaign, on the other hand, is going to be based on intervals. So you will run the campaign every 2 days, every 3 days, or every day for that matter. And the same thing applies. So a welcome email is sent out, and then if they replied, you have a specific set of actions. If they've not replied, then you have another specific set of actions. So these are 2 different actions that you can do from the welcome email, but these get triggered only when it has to go out, only if the conditions are met on that particular step, and it happens on an everyday basis or based on the interval that you set, contradictory to a classic campaign where it will be based on the specific days. Now let's go ahead and create our own campaigns right here in Freshsales. I will show you how to create a campaign right here. So the campaigns can be accessed from your profile over here on the right top corner, and then sales campaigns. Before that, I would just like to give you a brief idea on the 2 modules through which you can execute the campaigns from. So as you know, we have leads and contacts. Leads would be everyone interested in the business. So the start of the workflow, it always starts from leads, and the qualified leads or your customers are the ones that you would convert and put them into the contact section. So in a campaign, in a sales campaign, we are ideally targeting people. So this is right now configured so that you can target either the leads or the contacts in the system. Now, once that comes, or once you target that, the next thing is setting up the email templates. So you will need to make sure that you have your email templates set up before you go ahead and configure your campaign. So you can click on your profile over here on the right top corner and email templates, where you will have the entire list of templates which you can create. So all you need to do is create a template, and you can give it a template name, a subject over here, and you can make sure that it goes, every email that you send out is more personalized when you add placeholders. So you can add something like the first name, last name, and so on. And then you type the entire content of the email. And if you'd like to share the template with the team, you can have this option checked, so it is all automatically shared with the team as well. So once you create the template, the entire list of templates is listed over here. A quick example of a template is over here. As you can see, I've added a placeholder where it automatically pulls out the first name of the person, and then you have the entire content of the email below that. So once you've set the template up, you're good to go ahead and create a campaign right from here. Again, you can click on your profile and then sales campaigns to go ahead and configure your campaigns. So when you create a campaign, let's go ahead and create one. So an ideal scenario is, let's say we are prospecting, we have a new lead that comes into the system. We like to send out an email to them as soon as they come. So you can go ahead and create that campaign. So new campaign, new leads, you just give it a name over here, and once you do that, you're targeting your leads or contacts. Since this is prospecting, let's go with the leads, and all leads that are under Jake in this case will automatically come to the campaign. So this is the filter condition on how you want the leads to come into the campaign automatically. So the system will search leads which match this filter condition. So you can probably add something like, if the lead stage is new and if the owner is Jake, then automatically come into the campaign. So the system will pull these leads automatically into the campaign, and then after that, you choose what type of campaign that you want. So in this scenario, an ideal example would be a classic campaign is something that you could set up, and you can set up at a specific time that you mentioned. So say something around 10 a.m. in the morning, and then you choose the specific condition that it needs to be triggered. So for example, let's say we need a welcome email on day 1 as soon as the lead comes in. First and foremost, let's go ahead and send out a welcome email on day 1. So the lead comes into the campaign, immediately the email is sent. After that, if they don't respond to that email, we'd like to do a follow-up or a call reminder probably on day 3. And this is how you set up a task. So you can set up a task, you can set up the title over here, you could always set up a follow-up reminder, and you could add additional conditions over here. So for example, this could go, if not replied to my previous step, then create this campaign. You could add additional information like if the lead stage is also in a specific condition, if something like if you try contacting them, since we've already sent out an email, then send out this condition, or set up this follow-up reminder, and this could go on day 2 or day 3. So let's put a day 2 at this point, and then you could also send out another email on day 5 if not replied to my first email, and that would be over here again, if not replied to the first email. Additional settings or advanced settings that we do have in that itself would be sending the email. If you want to send the email as a reply to the previous thread, or if you want to start a whole new thread altogether. So that's an option that you could choose. So when you choose reply to the previous email, you will send out an email, and based on that email, this will go as an additional email to that specific email. So you could send out something like hey, I hope my email is not missed, just wanted to check back in, and that's an option that you could do over here. And you could also send it on behalf of the record owner. You don't have to send it for yourself. So you could also you can, as an administrator, you could have one centralized campaign where you could send out a campaign on behalf of all the users, where you have a specific process. And that's another option that we do have over here as well. By default, we will include all the signatures of the user as they have in their profile, and then tracking opens and clicks, and then you have this unsubscribe option as well, as they need to fall into the law as well. So once you save that, this step would execute as well. Likewise, you can add multiple steps, so we can have another follow-up probably on day 8 if the lead stage is, if they have not replied to my third email, and if the lead stage is in a specific condition, in this case under review. So this could be sometimes where like you need to collect documents and they haven't responded back yet, then we could have this specific condition. Likewise, you can create multiple days, and this, like I said, goes all the way up to 90 days. So you can set this campaign for multiple steps all the way to day 90. And at what time would these people exit the campaign is the next condition that we set up over here. As you can see, this is the next condition that we create, where you can choose what are the exit conditions. So if they are converted as a lead, then automatically come out of the campaign. Or when, let's say, on ideal scenarios, if they do respond to my email, you would like them to automatically come out of the campaign, which is also something that we have. So we can choose last contacted mode, and in last contacted mode, this could be something like replied, and this would mean that if the person replied to the email that you send out, then automatically they will come out of the campaign. So the campaign will run once every day, but this is going to be in terms of a real-time scenario, specifically the last one, which says last contacted mode. So if the last contacted mode is set, automatically we will take them out of the campaign and no more emails will be sent, and then you can have your own specific ways to follow up with that respective lead there. So that's how you go ahead and create a typical campaign. From here, let's go ahead and see how we can work out another campaign, which could be a classic campaign, which is a smart campaign. So coming back over here, you can create another campaign, and this time we could let's have a scenario where the contract or the trial or the annual revenue and the annual contract is expiring. So we could have something like the expiry date set under the contacts, and at this point we would like to make sure that they are customers. So in this case, where the owner is a specific user, we could also add additional fields where the status is a customer and the expiry date is going to be less than 30 days, right? So you can set up something like if the expiry date is going to be less than 30 days, then these people need to come into the campaign. And at this point, we will run a smart campaign because we want this to run every day. And based on the expiry date, we would like to make sure that we create the follow-ups there. So when we do that, we could always add an email. So as soon as that goes out, you can send up something like expiry, first contract expiry reminder, which could go based on the expiry date. If the expiry date is exactly 30 days or is in 30 days, right? So that's when the first email will be triggered. And then we could set up a follow-up, which would again be on a specific day. Again, that would be if they have not replied to my first email, and we would create a follow-up there. And then based on that, we could send another email. At this point, if they do respond to that email, we will automatically pick that up. We will go ahead with the respective follow-ups through that email. So in this case, we would go up with no replies to that email. So we in this, let's go to the other one where we have another second contract expiry reminder where the expiry date is, let's say, 14 days, right? And you can have it as a reply to the previous thread as well. This could go on behalf of the record owner, and that will be saved as well. And another condition that I missed is if they've not replied to my previous email or the previous step. So this is a condition that this helps you to create the sequence of emails over here, and that you can go ahead and save it over there. Likewise, you can add another call reminder for just as a fail safe in case they have not replied, to make sure that we follow up with them to make sure that they haven't responded to that email as well. And likewise, you can go ahead and create multiple campaigns, and very similar to the previous condition, we could set up as last contacted mode is in replied. We would automatically we would take them out of the campaign because we don't want the expiry email to go to that same person again and again. So we'll take them out of the campaign, and once you hit save, the campaign is automatically saved and is good to go. So that's how you create two separate types of campaign. One, we've seen an example of a classic campaign, and the other, we've seen an example of a smart campaign with two different use cases at this point. Now, coming back over here in terms of seeing how the campaign works, as administrators, we would like to see how successful is a specific campaign. So you can see that statistics right over here itself. As you can see, there are 10 emails sent out in this campaign expiry reminder. The status or the open rate is 4, the reply rate is 1, and 3 emails have bounced. Now, how do we treat two separate sets of emails? What happens if an email is bounced? What happens if a user unsubscribes out of the campaign? What happens at that point is, let's deal with the condition 1. What happens if an email is bounced? We would automatically take them out of the campaign. So that's a system-based stamp we've taken, where we take that lead or contact out of the campaign, and he is automatically put inside the put into a different one. So you don't have emails sent to the same person again and again, thereby increasing your bounce rate. So we will make sure that we take the respective lead or contact out of the campaign automatically if the email bounces. So I'm just going to open that. And in another condition where user unsubscribes, when a user unsubscribes out of a specific email, we will enable do not disturb inside Freshsales. So when do not disturb is enabled, no emails will be sent to him, be it a bulk email, a workflow email triggered through workflow, or an email through sales campaigns. We will make sure we don't send those emails, because at that point, the user would not like to be disturbed. So when do not disturb is enabled, they will also go out of the campaign right from here. And as you can see in this section, you can see how many leads have entered the campaign, how many of them are currently in the campaign, and how many have left the campaign. And if you see over here, you can see who left the campaign at this point and who are the 4 people who are currently in the campaign, and ideally 7 of them are the ones who came into the campaign. Now, what is the open rate? Who are the people who opened my email, clicked on the email? You can see that right over here. The 3 people who the email was sent to in the first place, of which the only person, and what's the open rate success over here is another metric that we track that automatically for you, where you can see that. And when you click on this one, you can go ahead and see who opened that specific email right from here. Additionally, what you can also do from this, you can also see the follow-ups, which will also come up over here, one below the other in the specific campaign. And the same thing goes with bounce. You can see who are the people who came out of the campaign because the email was bounced, and that's available over here as well. So likewise, you can send out individual emails, and if they've unsubscribed, as you can see, that is calculated as a separate metric as well. So this is a specific way in which you create a campaign. And coming out of the campaign, every campaign that the user creates, you will also be able to share the campaign so another user can see it and create a campaign of the same sort. So when you click on share over here, you can share it with specific users, or you can share it with everyone in your team, or you can share it to make sure that you don't share it, it's only for yourself, your view. So you can set something up. This could either be shared with the territory that you created, that would be a list of users in that territory or a group, or the entire user list over here. You can go through that as well. So that's another option. That's a new option that we have, and you can clone a campaign to make sure that you follow the similar steps right from here as well to go ahead and immediately clone the campaign. So every metric that you see, you can always see that over here. And another use case that you could also handle at this with the sales campaign is anytime a customer or a deal is won, you can automatically make sure that as soon as they become a customer, you can send out emails to them right from here. This is an example of that, where an email is sent. Again, the metrics can be seen over here. As soon as he becomes a customer, I would like to send out a welcome email. Thank you for joining us. And then on day 5, have a follow-up reminder. And then on day 8, I would also like to make sure that I follow up with them to see if they have any troubles or if they have any issues. And then again, back on day 25, and then that will be the last of that email. So default ways where the leads or contacts will come out of the campaign is when they complete all the steps. All these steps are completed, and when they come, another one is when they bounce, when the emails are bounced, they come out of the campaign, and when they are unsubscribed, they automatically come out of the campaign. So these are the default system ways in which we take them out. Additionally, if you have your own conditions, if it moves to a specific stage or if it moves to a specific part of the cycle, sales cycle, you can take them out of the campaign as well. So these are other ways in which you could do that. Now, how do we know which lead is in a specific campaign? That is something that we capture as a system-based field, which you will be able to see that under this section over here. So when you go into leads, you can use filters to see which lead is in which side of the campaign. So I would like to add something like, let's go to a filter where it's all leads. So I don't have any filter. And then there is a default system field where we have as sales campaign, active or completed sales campaign. So you have a way to do that. Once you click on active sales campaigns, you can see what are the campaigns that are running and which campaign should this user be a part of. And once you choose that, so since this is leads, we will go into the prospecting campaign. And once you click on active sales campaigns, you can see all the leads that are in that specific campaign. And once you do that, you can save this as a specific view, which you can share it with yourself again, or selective users. So this way you can find out who are currently in the campaign. And the other filter, completed sales campaigns, you can see if the users who have completed a specific campaign. Now you might have issues where you don't want everyone to enter the campaign, and you can also be picky in terms of putting specific people into the campaign. That is another option that we do have, where you can go inside or You can select a specific user over here. For example, Gerald. I'm just going to go ahead and click over here and say add to campaign or remove from campaign. One of the other options that you can always use, let's say on a case where I'm going to go ahead and hit add to campaign, you can choose which campaign, if there are multiple campaigns there, which campaign he needs to be a part of. And once you save that, he automatically moves into that specific campaign that you've created. So now when I go over here, we will have one more person into the prospecting campaign, which is the 8th lead over here, and you can see who came into the campaign. That'll be Gerald over here. So these are ways where you can automatically do or put leads into the system. And the second one, which I just showed you, will be a manual way of getting the leads into the system right from here. Right? So these are the different ways in which you could create your campaigns and different scenarios in which you could create your campaigns, and ways you can put leads into the campaigns and take them out when required. So if you do have any questions, I will be happy to help you. You can just put that out in the question section and I will answer them right away. But in terms of the best practices in setting up the campaign, one of the most important thing is make sure you have your mailbox connected. So when you connect your mailbox, if the email is going to go on behalf of another owner or behalf of the record owner itself, then this makes a valid where you connect your mailbox. Another thing is, how is the email going to go out? Is it going to go out through the Freshsales SMTP or custom SMTP? Custom SMTP is definitely when you connect your mailbox with Freshsales. And yes, Freshsales also has its own way of sending out emails. So since we send it through SendGrid, please do make sure that you verify your domain in the admin settings. Just to quickly show you that, that'll be over here under admin settings and email settings, and please make sure that you verify your domain. Before that, add all these DNS records in your server. Once you do add that and you verify your domain, the emails will go like it's coming from you and not from an application, thereby making your domain a valid domain. So do make sure that we do that. And if you're, as a user, if you're sending an email on the email, make sure that you're the owner of that campaign and you send an email to your campaign or your leads alone. That's another way to do that. And you could handle in this through the campaigns, you will be able to handle a huge set of leads. So in terms of that, I would say the number of emails would vary from plan to plan. For example, let's say in the estate plan, the number of emails that you could send out would be 1,000 emails in sales campaigns. So let's say in your account you have 5 users, a total of 1,000 emails you will be able to send out. 5,000 emails you will be able to send out, and those 5,000 emails that you send out could be exhausted by a single user as well. So as administrators, if you're setting up the campaign, you don't have to worry about it. You can send out 5,000 emails from your account as well. So though it is 5,000 emails per user per day, it is for the entire account itself. So that way the number of emails that you can handle will be higher, and the number of emails that you send out also will be higher. So that's a quick work in terms of a workshop in terms of sales campaigns. So if you do have any questions right now, please put it over into the comment section or the question section. We will answer them right away. Or if you would like to contact us later as well, please contact us at support@freshsales.io, and you could also contact us through the number as well. So I'm open to questions, so do let me know if you have any questions and I will answer them right away.
Perfect. So that was one brilliant demo of sales campaign. We have some questions from you folks here, and we would love to answer them now. So starting with the first questions from Lucas. When you share campaigns to different users, have to edit the campaign templates used to have their signature in the emails. I'll repeat it one more time. When you have, when you share campaigns to different users, have to edit the campaigns used to have their signature in the emails.
So when you share the email, when you share a campaign to another user, it is going to be in read-only access, or they won't be able to edit the another user will not be able to edit the campaign, whereas they will be able to clone it though. So edit option is not available for that specific user. But always make sure that if you're sending an email on behalf of another user and have their signature, send email with the signature checked, make sure that the user has the signature also available under their profile. So that will be under the profile and settings, and you could, each user can add their own signature. So if you're sending it on behalf of another user, make sure that that user has the email signature also right below that. And in terms of sharing the campaign, right now when you share the campaign, it's going to be only view only for the person that you're going to share. They will not be able to edit that specific campaign there.
Perfect. So the next one's from Pat. Can a campaign start from a sign up from a specific web form?
Yes, definitely. So as in a case, there are two ways you could do that. So in a way where, let's say, as soon as a lead comes into the email through a web form, if you automatically want them to send out a welcome email and then and then put them into a campaign, that is something that we don't have, that we will achieve with a combination of workflows and sales campaigns. So where you will trigger a workflow as soon as a lead comes into the campaign and then automatically put them into a specific campaign. And then from day two, like in the initial slide that I was mentioning, we could what we can do over there is we can automatically put them into a campaign, because by default the campaign runs only once a day. So in this case, we could send out a welcome email through workflows, and from day 2 or day 3, from that email we could make sure that it goes into the campaign and the campaign goes through from that. So that happens from the time that the person signs up into the web form, and then through workflows, and then back to sales campaigns.
Okay. So the next question's from Arivu. How many emails can we send per day?
So it depends upon the in the plan that you choose. So there are different types of sending out emails. So for example, you have emails that you can send through individual transactional emails, and we have another option called bulk emails. Bulk emails is when you want to send out one blast to the entire list that you have. So that is also something that you can do through Freshsales, and that is, you use that bulk emails when you want to send out just one email, no response, no actions, or no follow-up emails based on that response. Whereas a campaign is when you want to have additional actions based on the response of the email. So each type of email will be different, and the limit is different for each. So for example, in the Blossom plan, the number of emails that you could send is 250, in the Garden it's 500, and in the Estate it's 1000, and Forest finally we have it as 2000. So assuming, let's say you're in the Estate plan at this point, and again the number of users you would have will, let's say, put it around 10. So the number of emails that you could send as a user per day in only in sales campaigns, that would be around 10,000 emails per day, and that's for the entire account. So you could either split it among the different users, or one user can send 10,000 emails as well. And this again, there is 10,000 bulk emails, 10,000 emails through workflows. Those are again different, but a total of 10,000 sales campaign emails you will be able to send if you're in the Estate and you have 10 users. So it's calculated by total number of emails into the number of users that you have.
Okay. So the next question's from Tia. How can you allow everyone on your team to see the email templates you created?
So every email template that you create, you could share it with your team. So when you click on your profile and email templates, and when you create a template over here, so this is a quick template, at the bottom of the screen, you have an option which says share with the team. So when you have this option, share with team, checked, you will be able to share it with the entire team. As you can see over here, it will be shared and shared with the team. So everyone in the team will be able to access that under their option which says email templates. And when they send out an email or create the campaign, they will be able to see this specific email template that you created.
Perfect. So the next question is from Terry. Are there any reports that show the full results of a campaign for easy sharing with other people who are not on Freshsales?
Currently, we don't have reports on the sales campaign, so you will be able to see the statistics only over here. So when you click on the profile, you will have a quick snapshot on the success rate of the campaign, but it's something that we don't have a reporting on as of now. It's something that we're looking to develop probably in the fourth quarter. So for now, it's something that we don't have. That will be a next, or the second version of sales campaign, or the third version. It's something that we have in our roadmap, but not at this point.
Perfect. So the next one is from Lucas again. Is there a way to nurture leads? That is, email one is sent and opened. If the email one is sent, send the email two. If email two has been responded, call this prospect. And if it is not responded, send email three.
Yeah, definitely, Lucas. That's possible. So you send out the first email, and if they've opened it, you'd like to send out a second email. And if they've not opened to either the second or the first, or if they responded to any one, you would like to call to the prospect. If that's the case, I'm just going to quickly do that for you, show you over here. Sorry, just create a campaign over here that, again, you're targeting the leads. So you will choose something like, the first one goes as it is, so I'm just going to go with the same introduction email. You save that, and then you could send up another one if they have not responded, I guess. So I'm just going to go with uh, not reply to the welcome email, right? You could send that on probably day 2, and if they replied to any one of those emails, you can set up a called reminder like you said. So I will choose something like, if replied to my first step, and when you add another condition over here, you will have and or logic. So when you choose that, you can choose this one, which says, again, if replied to my second step at this point. So the first one would be the first step, second one would be the second step, and that would go over here. And this you could set it up on day 3, and then another email if they have not replied to that email either. So that will be to this one, not replied to the first follow-up on day 3, and you could add, or sorry, on day 4, and you could add the same conditions as that goes. So if not replied to my previous step, or if not replied to my first step, right? So you can, even based on those individual steps, you could go ahead and create that. So those individual steps are created one after the other over here, right? I hope that answers the question. And if they do respond, you can automatically take them out of the campaign as well after that.
Perfect. So that's pretty much all the questions that we had for today. So thank you so much, Jake, and thank you, folks. And as promised, all of you will get a recording of the webinar by next week so that you guys can watch the webinar again when you need to. If you have further questions about Fresh Sales, please reach out to support@freshsales.io. I repeat, it's support@freshsales.io. I know you guys are joining around the world, so have a good morning, night, and afternoon. We look forward to seeing you folks soon.